Okay. Hi, my name is David Whipple. I would like to introduce you to another helpful AWS service. First, I have 3 questions I'd like to ask you. Number 1, a company wants to implement a serverless architecture for their web application to improve scalability and reduce operational overhead. They have a requirement to process real-time data and execute short-duration tasks in response to events. Which AWS service is best suited for this use case? Number 2, this company wants to reduce the physical compute footprint that developers use to run code. Which service would meet that need by enabling serverless architectures? And number 3, which AWS service provides a fully managed serverless compute environment for running code without provisioning or managing servers, and runs functions against triggers? Well, I would like to introduce you to AWS Lambda, a service that lets you run code on high availability compute infrastructure without needing to manage or provision servers. You organize your code into Lambda functions. Lambda runs your function only when needed and scales automatically, from a few requests per day to thousands per second. You pay for the compute time that you consume. You can trigger Lambda from over 200 AWS services and software as a service applications. You can invoke your Lambda functions using the Lambda application programming interface, or Lambda can run your functions in response to events from other AWS services. Lambda functions can be allocated up to 10 gigabytes of memory and can run for a maximum of 15 minutes. Imagine that there is a company that has a website that allows users to upload images. The images are stored in an Amazon S3 bucket. The company wants to automatically resize images to a specific size when they are uploaded. If it's important that the service is cost-effective and scalable, and the company wants to minimize operational overhead, what will you use? Well, as if you were from the University of Connecticut, the answer is Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. Use AWS Lambda to resize images when they are uploaded to the S3 bucket. You can use Amazon S3 to trigger Amazon Lambda to process data immediately after an upload. You can also connect to an existing Amazon EFS file system directly, which enables massively parallel shared access for large-scale file processing. For example, you can use Lambda to thumbnail images, transcode videos, index files, process logs, validate content, and aggregate and filter data in real time. Lambda also offers built-in fault tolerance, the option to BYOC, bring your own code, and many other positives. Thank you. Alright, hello, my name is David Whipple, and I would like to introduce you to an AWS program that helps you track your money. This is a pricing tool which enables you to view and analyze your costs and usage. This pricing tool is used to visualize, understand, and manage AWS costs and usage over time. What is it? The AWS Cost Explorer. It's a free tool that allows you to view charts of your costs. Cost Explorer can be used to discover patterns in how much you spend on AWS resources over time and to identify cost problem areas. Cost Explorer can help you identify service usage statistics, such as which service you use the most and which linked account is used the most. With Cost Explorer, you can also view metrics for which availability zone has the most traffic and optimize future costs. You can access it from the AWS Management Console. Alright, so Cost Explorer can be accessed in many ways. See where I typed cost in the search engine? It shows billing and cost management, but also Cost Explorer as a feature. There are links at the top, as well as this widget, which allows you to go to billing and cost management. And once there, you can see the link for Cost Explorer on the side. You have the option to save your report in the report library by clicking here. This shows the saved reports. While looking up cost reports, you can put in a date range. Here we'll look up the month of December, of course stopping at the 12th because that was yesterday. Now, remember, as with anything you're working on, if if you want the correct information, you need to clear previous information out there. Like have tags that I was working on, and you want to make sure you take those out, or else you won't have what you're supposed to have. But more on that in a little bit. You see, with granularity, you have the option to look up daily, monthly, or if you're a super admin, you can look things up hourly. But that's only if you're a super admin. Now you can see with granularity, we're going to go to daily. We're going to see who's spending money here already. In the first line, you get the service total, and it breaks it down by date. Thank you.
All right. Hello, my name is David Whipple, and I'd like to introduce you to an Amazon program that offers authentication and authorization features. But first, a question. Suppose a healthcare company wants to implement secure application access for its patient management system. The company needs a service that can handle authentication, authorization, and user identity management. Which AWS service should the solutions architect recommend to meet these requirements? Amazon Cognito. So what exactly is Amazon Cognito? Is it like incognito, where you're concealing one's own identity? Well, it does have something to do with identity. Amazon Cognito is an identity platform for web and mobile apps. Amazon Cognito, you can authenticate and authorize users from the built-in user directory, from your enterprise directory, and from consumer identity providers like Google and Facebook. Cognito is a user directory, an authentication server, and an authorization service for OAuth 2.0 access tokens and AWS credentials. What is OAuth 2.0? It's an industry standard protocol for authorization. It focuses on client-developer simplicity while providing specific authorization flows for web applications, desktop applications, mobile phones, and living room devices. Amazon Cognito draws from the OpenID Connect, an identity layer built on top of the OAuth 2.0, which allows third-party applications to verify the identity of the end user and to obtain basic user profile information. Amazon Cognito allows you to secure identity and access management for apps. But how do they do that when you just want to go swimming in the World Wide Web? That's a good question. Well, suppose a company is developing a new mobile version of its popular web application in the AWS cloud. And that mobile app must be accessible to internal and external users while handling authorization, authentication, and user management from one central source. What solution meets these requirements? That solution is called Amazon Cognito User Pools. Amazon Cognito User Pools lets you add registration and sign into your apps. User Pools allows you to sign in directly with a username and password, or through a trusted third party, and can scale to support millions of users. With these Cognito identity pools, you can provide AWS credentials for access to your cloud resources. An Amazon Cognito user pool can be a standalone identity provider. You can use multi-factor authorization with user pools, and you can implement your own web front end, the part of the computer with which users interact directly. Ultimately, the Amazon Cognito user pools use the application programming interface to authenticate, authorize, and manage your users. Thank you.
Are you ready to test your knowledge? Okay. First question. Which item is the best example of one responsibility of an AWS architect? A. Monitor alarms for disaster response. B. Maintain application level code in the AWS cloud. C. Manage access to a group of AWS accounts. Or D. Analyze solutions for business needs and requirements. Ooh, which one is it? AWS architect. And the answer is D. AWS architect analyze solutions for business needs and requirements. All right. Which item is a cluster of data centers within a geographic location with low latency network connectivity? A. Availability zone. B. Region. C. Edge location. Or D. Outposts. Clutter of data centers within a geographic location with low latency network connectivity. The answer is A. Availability zones. Good job. Right. Which factors must be considered when picking an AWS region? There's two of them are the correct answer. A. Local data regulations. B. Operating system requirements. C. Latency to end users. D. Support for hybrid networking. And E. Programming language of the application. My guess is A and C would be the correct answers. Let's find out. A and C, I was right. Local data regulations and latency to end users. Excellent. Okay, what is the primary benefit of deploying applications into multiple availability zones? A. Stronger security policies for resources. B. Decreased latency to resources. C. High availability for resources. And D. There is no benefit to this design. What is the primary benefit of deploying applications into multiple availability zones? I'm thinking C. What do you think? Yay! The answer is C. High availability for resources. Very good. What is AWS Amplify? AWS Amplify consists of a set of tools, open source framework, visual development environment console, and services, web app, and static website hosting to accelerate the development of mobile and web applications on AWS.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Austin. I feel like my knowledge of the AWS cloud has been amplified.